So I'm the eldest of four. My mother had me at 17, so I have two sisters and one brother. And we were raised in LaSalle. Life wasn't easy. My parents had us, of course, at a very young age, and there was influences, there was vices, there was different things that they were involved in. And even though they loved us as their children and wanted to provide, it came to a point, at some point in their life, that they just couldn't make it. You know, there's a lot of times there wasn't food in the house. We missed lots of school. It was just, they were just in a situation that they just couldn't survive. So there was a situation that happened. I didn't have books. I was in grade 5 and I didn't have books. If anyone remembers the Mili Milo books, I didn't have it, and it was in October, and my parents at that point weren't together anymore. And I remember telling my dad, "Dad, you know, I don't have the book." And he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna meet you today and I'm gonna give you money for it." So he gave me money and I was so excited because, you know, as a child, just think about it, that you're in class and you don't have all your materials, everyone else has it, you're not able to follow, you're not able to connect. Anyway, so he finally gave it to me, and my mother had a bunch of friends over, her boyfriend, and partying and all that stuff. And she came and fought me for the money. And I didn't want to give it to her, obviously, because we were October, and at that point, I wanted to be like everybody else at 11 years old and have what I needed to be able to follow the class. And she fought me for the money, and I think it was like $60. It wasn't even anything big at the time, now that we think about it, but for her, obviously it was. My mother had a drug abuse problem, so the drug abuse, her vice just came into full-fledged, and I gave up the money. So I went to school the next day, and you know, you're raised in an environment we were raised in the environment, I should say, that we don't talk our business. So the fact that we didn't have food, we made an excuse. The fact that we didn't go to school, we made an excuse. Like, you don't talk your business. That happens at home. And that day was the first time that I decided to say something. And at that point, we were taken away, my siblings and I, and 2 of us went with our English teacher, and 2 of us went with a French teacher, and we lived with them for a year. They wanted to adopt us, but then my grandmother came and said, "Oh, hell no, it's not happening." So she took us, and then 2 of us went with my aunt, and 2 of us went with my grandmother, and it was a new environment. We're not living together as siblings. We're not living with our parents. You know, we're wondering, why is it that our parents are not doing what they need to do in order to take us back? We hate the West Island. We can't stand it. Like, it was just a complete different change from living in LaSalle. As chaotic as it was, the chaos was still normal to us. It's just that as I was getting older, I was realizing that this is not how it's supposed to be. I had responsibilities as a child that was just like an adult. I took care of my siblings, managed to get food together, shoplifted. I did what I had to do in order to be able to help my family as much as possible, but at that point, I was tired. I was tired of being an adult, and I just wanted to be 11 years old, and I just wanted things to be normal. So that's what happened. So when if I take that and I bring into my current life, that situation made me realize that I never wanted to be a product of my environment, that I always wanted to overcome and over-exceed anything that I put my mind to. And because I have such a caring spirit, it comes out in my coaching, it comes in my interactions with my friends, it comes in my interaction with my family, in order for them to be able to not feel anything uncomfortable. I know how it feels to be in places of discomfort. I know how it is to want more. So if there's anything that I can do to help people and to be able to just use my story and fuel my story through my coaching sessions, or fuel it through workshops, or fuel it through talks, or whatever it is that I plan on doing in the future, I know that I went through that for a reason. I know that what happened that day was for a reason. At 11 years old, I remember praying to God and saying, you know, just take me out of this situation, and I'll over-exceed, like I won't look back. And you know, since that day, there's been some bumps, you know, ups and downs, but since that day, I never looked back.